Okay, so today we're going to be looking at skills in psychology for the Introduction to AQA A-Level Psychology course. So we're going to be looking at the transition from GCSE to A-Level, the overview of skills that are required for this course, and actually some key points of what you can do to improve these skills that are required. So in terms of transitioning GCSE to A-Level, you'd be expected to write essays. Again, we said this in the previous section that your essays are going to be a maximum of 16 marks. You will be expected to analyse and use critical thinking skills. There is quite a high degree of biology and mathematics involved in this course. You have a whole section in paper 2, for example, that's biopsychology, and don't forget your research methods is worth 48 marks, not 24 marks. Research methods is also assessed in each topic. That's really important to stress. So although in paper 1, for example, you will be completing the attachment section, you can be expected to have research methods questions in that section also. And sociology as well, especially that binds in with your social influence topic in paper 1. So in terms of the overview of the skills required for the A-Level psychology course that you will be doing, you need to make sure that these skills are continually being developed, okay? By no means we're expecting these to be really sharp and to the degree that you need them by the end of the A-Level course, but these are skills that you really want to be working on from the start. So clear and coherent organisation of answers, and we're going to look at some examples of some answers in a short while, so you maybe see what that means in a moment with an example. Analysis and critical thinking, so that comes into your evaluation. Don't forget most marks, more marks are designated for your AO3 component of your assessment objectives within A-Level psychology. Applying knowledge to a situation, so the knowledge, the theory that you learn in class, in lesson, you need to be able to apply that to a situation. Your maths and numeracy skills, again, I must stress this is really a recap of GCSE numeracy skills, and again, you will be retaught that and you'll be recapping it throughout the course, so don't worry too much about that, but there's lots of resources on Tutor2 where you can brush up on those skills. Interpreting scientific data, so for example graphs, again we're going to be looking at that today in the next PowerPoint, and problem solving lastly as well. So let's have a look at, in terms of the skills required, we've got a question here, and feel free to pause this slide. And what I'd like to do is read the question. I'd like you to read both answers, and this really what I want you to be thinking about here when you're reading this answer is which one is the better answer, do you think? But more importantly, why? So we can see here, this is an AO1 assessment objective. It's asking you to describe something. It's actually asking you to describe a study, Milgram's obedience study to be specific. Now, the answer on the left here, maybe some of you have kind of noticed this, but it's quite vague, okay? And for 4 marks, there's not a lot there, okay? So there's not really any statistics, not any specificity in this particular answer. If we're going to compare that with the answer on the right, that's really the more clear and coherent answer. That's the one that's really going to be getting quite kind of the higher level mark here. So we've got specific stats of the actual findings because that's what it's asking. It's asking to describe the findings. So we've got 65% of participants obeyed, for example, and we've got the specific voltage amount of which they obeyed up to. We've also got other findings here, so qualitative findings, descriptive findings, like signs of nervousness and tension. And then we've also got some other findings there also. I think the thing to stress here is it is description only, and it's what it's asking you to describe. So remember with a study, as I've said in the previous series, that description can be on conclusion, it can be on the procedure, it can be on the aim, but this question's only asking about the findings. So that's all really you're going to be credited for. If you start writing about the conclusion or the procedure, that's not necessarily going to be credit worthy because it's asking you to describe the findings of a study. Okay, looking at the skills required, I've mentioned this before. So AO3 is your kind of predominant main skill that you really need to make sure that you're sharp on, because most of the marks for a lot of the questions are going to be AO3. Now this AO3 assist, If you want to find this resource, by the way, this picture of the burger bun, it is on Tutor2U. If you go on the Tutor2U website and search A-Level Essay Planning Evaluation Burger Pad, it says it there in bold at the bottom. You'll find that resource, and it's a really good resource to use if you feel weak on evaluation or you just want to actually practice evaluation. So in terms of what the burger bun actually means, this is a really good way to practice the skill of how to evaluate well. So the P here, the point, is identifying, okay, so what is my strength and weakness? Briefly define it. Tell me what it is. Okay, so like a strength of Milgram's study is. The next point is the E, one of the E's. So we're going to provide evidence or example to demonstrate the strength or weakness. So we might refer to a particular part of the study or a particular finding, for example. The last E is explaining why it is actually a strength or weakness. Okay, so you're explaining with regards to the evidence and example that you've given, why is that a bad or why is that a good thing, for example. And there's a couple of other skills and resources that you can use on Tutor2U to help you with your evaluation, especially how to kind of extend that evaluation on and include some issues and debates. So definitely a resource, really valuable and worth looking at on the website. Okay, what you can do to improve the skills, because although this might seem quite daunting, moving from GCSE to A-level for a lot of you, it really there's quite a lot you can be doing in your own time, and stuff that you're probably doing in your own time already that's helping you improve these skills. So in terms of, you know, across the board, across all of the assessment objectives, reading books. Okay, it doesn't necessarily have to be a psychological book or a textbook. Any books. Read a book will really help you brush up on being a bit more clearer in your communication, your organisation of answers as well, and the way you communicate. So it's definitely something you could be doing. In terms of the skill of analysing and critically thinking, really what you want to be thinking about when you're in a lesson, think about already when your teacher is giving you a study, a theory, think about, okay, what is the weakness of this? What's the downfall, the pitfall of this theory or study? What's a good thing about this? So start trying to get into the mode of identifying pro and cons of each theory, study and idea that you're presented with in lesson and that you read in the textbook as well. That will really help you brush up on that skill. And lastly, your maths and numeracy skills. Really, like I've said before and stressed, this is really just a refresh of GCSE maths. So complete the research methods tasks in the textbooks. There's lots of support and numeracy support on Tutor2U, so you can have a look at those resources on the Tutor2U website also. Okay, so in terms of numeracy, let's have a look at some activities. So you're more than welcome to pause this now. What I'd like you to do is convert the following figures here, these percentages, into decimals. Okay, and if you can't quite remember how to convert percentage into decimals, have a little recap and then have a go at working this out, and we'll have a look at the answers. So feel free to pause. Okay, so the answers then, we should have for the first one 0.87, 0.325, 0.05, 0.1, 0.01 and 0.224. And again, these are just activities to brush you up on these skills. You won't necessarily get a question like this in the exam. It'll just say, okay, here are a bunch of percentages, convert them into decimals. These are just skills that you will find on the Tutor2U website. This is from actually a work booklet from Tutor2U where you can complete some tasks to refresh your numeracy and math skills. So if we have a look at a graph now, this is a typical question in the exam. So you'll be presented with this STEM, this question. You have a graph here, and the question that may follow that would be explain what the graph shows about the effect of the age of the child on food preferences for 2 marks. You have to explain what the graph is actually showing and demonstrating. So again, maybe have a go at this. Pause the slide now and have a go at answering this question, and then we'll go through the answers. So the answer here, again, you don't need to have this word for word, but hopefully you would have noticed that the graph shows that more children aged 5 to 6 said they preferred bananas to apples, and actually children aged 9 to 10 said that they preferred apples to bananas. So it's that simple. Okay, so just interpreting and describing the graph, what it's presenting. Again, I've referred to Tutor 2 resources quite a bit throughout this, so do pop onto the website. You can see here we've got some booklets here that you could be working through, so we've got a variety of resources available, knowledge books, topic companions, exam practice books where you can actually practice those exam skills and look at some exam questions. We've also got online lessons to support you as well, and flashcards if you work well in terms of that type of revision resource. So today what we've looked at is GCSE to A-Level and that transition and what that means, the overview of the skills required for the A-Level Psychology course, and lastly what you can do to improve any of those skills as well.